Students, we have already discussed about the useful microorganisms. Now coming to the harmful microorganism. Those microorganisms which causes disease are called pathogens. Some microorganisms spoil food, cloth and leather. Now these harmful microorganisms causes disease in humans also. And we first of all we will discuss about the communicable diseases. So those microbial disease which is spread from one person to other through air, water, food or by physical contact are called communicable disease. The examples are common cold, cholera, chickenpox, tuberculosis. What happens when a person is suffering from common cold? Actually, when a person suffers from common cold and while sneezing, if he is not putting a handkerchief in front of his mouth, what will happen? The fine droplets of moisture carrying thousands of viruses are spread in the air. And it may be possible that it may enter the body of a healthy person while breathing. And in this way, the common cold spreads from one person to other. Now coming to the next thing, you might be knowing about some of the insects and animals which acts as a carriers of disease causing microbes. They carry microbes on their body. One common example is housefly. This housefly sit on the garbage and on the animal excreta. Pathogens stick to their bodies and these flies sit on the uncovered food and they transfer the pathogens over there. And when we eat that contaminated food, we get sick. So that's why it is advisable to keep the food covered. Now I am coming to the next example, that is the Anopheles mosquito. This Anopheles mosquito is responsible for causing malaria. This Aedes mosquito, this is the another example which causes dengue in the humans. So these all are the carriers of the microbes. You might be knowing that these mosquitoes breed in the stagnant water. So we must not allow to collect the water in our surrounding. Now coming to some common human diseases caused by microorganisms. First of all, tuberculosis. It is caused by bacteria and mode of transmission is air. Measles, chickenpox, polio, they all are caused by virus and the mode of transmission in case of measles is air. In case of chickenpox it is air and by contact. Polio it is air and water. The methods by which we can prevent it by keeping the patient in complete isolation, then keeping the personal belongings of the patient away from the healthy ones and vaccination to be given at suitable stage. Then coming to cholera. Cholera and typhoid, they are caused by bacteria. Cholera is a mode of transmission is water or by food, and in case of typhoid the mode of transmission is water. Preventive measures are maintain personal hygiene, good sanitary habits, consuming properly cooked food and boiled drinking water and vaccination. Hepatitis A. Hepatitis A is caused by virus. Mode of transmission is water. The preventive measures are drinking boiled water and vaccination. Then malaria. Malaria is caused by protozoa and mode of transmission is mosquito. Preventive measures: use mosquito net and repellents, spray insecticides and control breeding of mosquitoes by not allowing water to collect in the surrounding. Thank you. Now coming to some common plant diseases caused by microorganisms. First of all, first plant disease is citrus canker. This is caused by bacteria and the mode of transmission is air. Now the rust of wheat. The microorganism which cause rust of wheat is fungi and mode of transmission is air or by seeds. Next is yellow vein mosaic of bhindi or okra, caused by virus and mode of transmission is insect. Now coming to food poisoning. This food poisoning occur due to the consumption of food spoiled by some microorganisms. Actually, these microorganisms grow on our food, sometimes producing toxic substances. These toxic substances make the food poisonous, and when they are consumed by some healthy person, they get sick or even they cause even death also. So coming to some of the methods by which this food poisoning can be prevented, and these methods are called food preservation. The first method is by chemical method. In this chemical method, we use the chemicals, they are called preservatives. Examples are sodium benzoate, sodium metabisulfite, and they preserve the jams, pickles, etc. Now the next method is preservation by common salt. Meat, fish, etc. or other substances can be preserved by using the salt. Amla, raw mangoes, tamarind, they are also preserved with the help of this common salt only. Now coming to preservation by sugar. This sugar reduces the moisture content and thus inhibits the growth of the bacteria, and this bacteria is only responsible for the spoiling of food, and this sugar stops the growth of the bacteria. Next thing is preservation by oil and vinegar. This oil and vinegar doesn't allow the bacteria to live, and so vegetables, fruits, fish and meat can be preserved by this method. Now the next method is by heat and cold treatment, that is called pasteurization. By pasteurization, the milk can be preserved. In this, the milk is heated to about 70 degrees centigrade for 15 to 30 seconds and then suddenly chilled and stored. By doing this, it prevents the growth of the microbes. Now, next method is storage and packing. In this, the vegetables or dry fruits are sold in sealed airtight packets, and it prevents the attack of microbes. Now student, we are coming to a next topic, that is nitrogen cycle. This atmospheric nitrogen is, the content of nitrogen in our atmosphere is about 78%. Still, plants are unable to take this atmospheric nitrogen directly. So, some bacteria and blue-green algae present in the soil fix nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert into nitrogenous compounds. Sometimes, lightning also helps in nitrogen fixation. Plants use these nitrogenous compounds from the soil through their roots for the making of proteins. When animals feed on these plants, they get these protein and other nitrogenous compound. When these plants and animal die, decomposers convert the nitrogenous waste into nitrogenous compounds, and again it is being used up by the plants. Some bacteria convert some part of it into atmospheric nitrogen gas also, and in this way the nitrogen is returned back to the atmosphere, and as a result the percentage of nitrogen in the atmosphere remains more or less constant. Student, you can see the nitrogen cycle over here. First one is atmospheric nitrogen. This atmospheric nitrogen is fixed by lightning. Some very little amount of atmospheric nitrogen get fixed in the soil with the help of lightning, but most of the nitrogen is fixed by nitrogen fixing bacteria and blue-green algae. Then this bacteria, some other set of bacteria convert this nitrogen into nitrogenous compound, and this compounds of nitrogen in the soil is uptaken by the plants, and then it is eaten by animals, and when these plants and animals die or when they excrete the nitrogenous waste which is being released in the soil, it is again converted into nitrogenous compound, and This nitrogenous compound is again used up by the plants, but some set of bacteria, they convert the compounds of nitrogen which is present in the soil to the atmospheric nitrogen again, and this is the cycle of nitrogen, and in this way the atmospheric nitrogen remains more or less constant in our environment. Thank you, students.